The Larks are getting set to go for their last homestand of 2026 as they welcome the Boulder Collegians for a non-league game tonight, followed by 2 league games in the next 2 days. Welcome into the press box, everybody, here at Larks Park for the pregame show. My name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship And the Larks are coming in off of a 3-game series against Liberal where they won the first game, which was in non-league play, and then lost the next 2 in league play because Liberal was able to take advantage of a 5-0 lead in both of those games. And they got the big wins, and now they're tied with the Larks in first place, but all hope is not lost. The Larks can still win the title outright if they win the next 2 games tomorrow and if Dodge gets 1 win against Liberal.
Yeah, and I think that with this Liberal team, we've seen it a couple times this season. If they can get out ahead against teams early, especially against the Larks, who are a team that really likes to tack on a lot of runs all at once, they can find some success against ball clubs that are going to be, on paper, better than them. And I think that the BJs have really shown a lot of grit against this Larks team, especially in the home series they played against the Larks here as well. So it'll be interesting coming down the stretch. It's going to be a tight race.
And looking at tonight's matchup against Boulder, they come in at 9-13, and this is their first matchup against the Larks all the way since June 4th. Those two played a doubleheader where the Larks won the first game 7-5 and then ran away in game number 2, 23-2. And they've seen them before. This is definitely going to be different because they've had time to settle into the season now. We're close to the end, and in fact, Boulder actually has only 1 more game after this series. Yeah,
and for the Larks, they've got their full roster. They're at full strength. And on top of that, they've got the home crowd here tonight supporting them. And I think that this situation for them this evening will be certainly a lot more comfortable than it was as early as that first series was in the season. So I think for the Larks, it's good that they've seen them already because they know what to expect and how to approach this game and their game plan.
Well, first pitch is 5 minutes away. Tonight's game is a non-league matchup, which will only be 7 innings long, and it should be a good one. We'll have it up next here on the Larks Network.
Larks! So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! Join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks!
It has been 6 weeks since these two have last faced each other, and tonight they'll start a 3-game series with a non-league matchup that will only be 7 innings long. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Larks respond in this game because They lost that last series against Liberal, and they haven't really been in that situation before. So as we await the first pitch, it'll come from number 4, Carson Lyles for the Larks. And the first batter for the Collegians is number 15, Britton Fox. He hits the ball right back up to Lyles, and he'll just underhand toss it to Tanner Norman, and just like that, there's out number 1. 7:04 is the first pitch time for tonight's game, with some really good weather, upper 80s for tonight's game. And now the next batter for Boulder is number 17, Parker Noah. He will be followed by number 2, Yale Johnson. Then number 7, Ethan Fillinger will bat 4th. Number 4, Caden Cooper is up next. Then number 6 is number 18, Logan Carney. The 7th batter is the DH, number 24, Riley Hall. Number 8, EJ Lanes will bat 8th. And the final batter is number 3, Skylar Daniel. 0-1 is the count to Parker Noah. Holding his bat up as he awaits the next pitch, and here it comes. He swings and misses at the curveball. He is down 0-2. Noah's a freshman from Grand Junction, Colorado, attends Phoenix Community College, facing the Barton commit, Carson Lyles. Here's the 0-2. He goes to the curveball again. There's a swing and a miss. And just like that, there's 2 away. Carson Lyles doing a good job finding the zone early. And now we'll take a look at the Larks' defensive alignment for tonight's game. Cooper Holtorf is in left field. Trent Baker, his college teammate, is in center field. Ty Schmeidler will be the right fielder tonight, and the catcher is number 29, Dylan Hazelhorst. Tanner Norman is back over at first base. Next to him is Hutch Russell at second. The shortstop tonight is number 8, Austin Crawford. And number 3, Rainer Bean, is the third baseman. Lyles' first pitch is a swing and a miss to Yale Johnson, and it's 0-1. That was just the 5th pitch that Lyles has thrown in this inning, as he's already gotten 2 batters out. Yale Johnson, a Division I commit, watches the next one go by, and the count moves to 1-1. He wrapped up his career at Chandler High School in Arizona. He's committed to play for the Northern Colorado Grizzlies next season. Now Lyles deals the 1-1, and this one will go off of his leg. He will track it down and will throw it down to first base, and he's able to get it there in time for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Carson Lyles in his second start of the season. And now we'll see what the Larks can do with the bats when we come back. In the top of the first inning, Carson Lyles only throws 7 pitches and is responsible for getting all 3 outs. That included a strikeout on the second batter and then 2 1-3 plays for the first and final out. And now it's time for the Larks to go to work with the bats. They were facing Boulder's pitcher, number 9, Tyler Kephart, a Fossil Ridge High School graduate from Fort Collins, Colorado. Kephart's making his 4th start tonight. He's pitched in 20 innings, and he's also made 5 relief appearances as well. He is facing number 3, Rainer Bean, in the leadoff spot once again. This is the 4th game in a row where Rainer Bean is in that one spot. Kephart deals the pitch, and it's in the zone. It's 0-1. Rainer Bean is followed by Cooper Holtorf and Trent Baker. Then after that, Hutch Russell will bat 4th. Tabor Stokes is 5th as the DH tonight. These 6 batters, number 34, Tanner Norman. Ty Schmeidler is 7th in the order. Number 8, Austin Crawford will bat 8th. And number 29, Dylan Hazelhorst will round out as tonight's 8th Street Liquor beverage batter. Bean has to get out of the way on the next pitch. It's now 1-1. He had one of the Larks' 5 hits in their last game against Liberal. He went 1 for 4 with that single. He also recorded a walk and stole a base in that appearance. Here's the 1-1. And Bean hits this one into center field. Noah's running after it, and he is going to get there in time for the first out. Wasn't a far distance for him to travel, but he's able to get the first out as Cooper Holtorf comes up to bat. And we'll take a look at Boulder's defensive alignment for tonight's game. Britton Fox is in left field. Parker Noah just made the play in center field. And the right fielder tonight is number 4, Caden Cooper. Tonight's catcher is number 8, E.J. Lanes. And over at first base is number 18, Logan Carney. The second baseman is number 3, Skylar Daniel. Tonight's third baseman for Boulder is number 2, Yale Johnson. And the shortstop is number 7, Ethan Fillinger. Kephart deals a ball to Holtorf, starting the count off 1-0. Holtorf's only hit in that final game against Liberal was a solo home run, extending his hit streak to 7 games. He is ahead with 2 balls and no strikes now. The catcher puts his glove low. Here's the pitch. And that one's popped out of play. Holtorf facing a tied count with 1 away. I think I heard a little bit of a reaction from the fans. Not sure if that ball might have hit a vehicle. Who knows? It's the parking lot of doom for a reason.
It's very possible. It had the trajectory of one that may have had a chance to hit a vehicle out there.
And the pitch to untie the count. Misses high and outside. 4-3. Kephart so far this season has given up 19 hits and 16 runs. Has recorded 21 strikeouts, and his ERA is sitting at 4.55. Now he delivers a 3-1 pitch, and Holtorf fouls this one back over the grandstand. So he will face a full count against the Colorado Mesa commit. Kephart pitches for the Collegians, but is listed as a catcher out of Fossil Ridge High School. Was listed actually as one of the top catchers in the 2026 class for Colorado Prep Varsity. And he will walk Cooper Holtorf on the payoff pitch. He is the first base runner of tonight's game.
It's hard for a pitcher to approach a guy like Cooper Holtorf because of the fact that he is such a consistent hitter. You don't want to give him anything that's too easy to hit, anything in the wheelhouse. And so on a count like that, Cooper Holtorf is really kind of in the driver's seat, even despite the fact that it was a full count like that. The pitcher's really on the pressure. The pressure's on the pitcher in a situation like that.
Batting in the 3-hole spot tonight is number 2, Trent Baker, who is in center field. And the first pitch to him is popped up, and it will leave the ballpark. It's 0-1. Baker's average coming into tonight's game is .348, and this is his 14th game as a batter this season. He's also made 8 appearances as a pitcher. Here's the 0-1. That one's fouled back in a similar spot for the second strike. So Kephart will look for the strikeout right here. He comes in, like I mentioned, with 21. He's gotten multiple strikeouts in 7 of the 8 games that he's pitched in. He's been primarily used as a relief pitcher with 5 appearances there, and this is his 4th start tonight. He kicks and deals, goes to his curveball, and it's way up high for ball 1.
Don't think that was the spot he was looking for on that curveball. Looked like he may have released that pitch just a tad too early. He wasn't, I don't think, intending to release that pitch as high as he did in its trajectory.
Holtorf has a lead over at first base. He's stolen 8 bases this season, and now Kephart will step off the mound. Here's the 1-2, and this one goes over the head of Trent Baker. The catcher is able to field it, and it is even with 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Similar situation there on that pitch as well. It just almost looks like he's having issues trying to grip the ball long enough for that release point to be lower so that he can get that curveball to drop a little bit closer to the zone.
Kephart looking for the strikeout. He targets the outside part of the plate, and now it's full. That's back-to-back batters along with Cooper Holtorf. He walked. He's over at first base right now. We'll see what Baker can do. Baker's been successful getting on base this season. His percentage there is .474. And he will pop this one up into right field. A long run for Caden Cooper, approaching foul territory, and that's where it's going to drop down. So Baker will stay alive at the plate. And we'll await pitch number 7 from the Fort Collins native.
Well, Cooper Holtorf is lucky that ball went as high as it did. He was already all the way over to second base by the time the right fielder, Cooper, was able to kind of get underneath that ball. And had Holtorf not heard the bench and the dugout yelling, back, 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 I don't know that he would have been aware on that play. That situation was kind of a hit-and-run situation because you don't want to hit into a double play in a situation like that. So I'm sure that Holtorf will be a little bit more wary here on this one.
Another foul ball from Baker. Feels like he keeps fouling him off in the same spot. It just feels repetitive. I don't really know how else to describe it.
He's a little bit behind the pitch, and that's really what's happening here in a situation like this. You're hitting that ball. As a right-handed hitter, if you're hitting that ball out to right field and foul territory, that means you're a little bit behind the pitch. If he can get just a little bit quicker reaction time on these pitches, he'll have a chance to give one a ride.
Kephart looking to win the battle. Baker hits this one deep into right field, and Cooper tracks it down. He started running back at first, but this time runs up, throws it to first base, and there's 2 outs. That was an 8-pitch at-bat for the center fielder, Trent Baker. And now batting is number 15, Hutch Russell, being moved to second base tonight. This is actually the 2nd game in a row that he's playing at that position. The Larks traditionally will play him over at third, but they can experiment with different spots tonight because tonight is a non-league game. The first pitch to Russell is left high and inside, and the steal down to second base is not going to be in time. Fillinger was there for the tag, but the ball rolled away from his glove. So Russell will work with a 1-0 count after the 9th steal of the season from Cooper Holtorf. Kephart went to his full windup again. He deals a ball there, making the count 2-0. Russell's looking for a hit tonight to match his hit streak that he had at the start of the season. He hit in each of his first 6 games. His current streak is 5 games. Kephart looks at second base, now deals the pitch. And this one is chopped foul, right past the first base dugout, and it's 2-1. The Larks have been working the count up in these last few at-bats. When Rainer Bean flew out to center field, the count was only 1-1. Then that followed with full counts from Holtorf and Baker. now here's the 2-1 to Russell. And this one's popped up in the infield. Fillinger is the one that is looking for it. Johnson's there as well. We'll see which one gets it. It is Johnson, and he dropped it. Russell was looking over at second base. He has to go back to first, and he slides in safely. That ball hung up in the air for a very long time, and I think there was also some confusion between Johnson and Fillinger, but the Larks are on the board first after an E6 play.
Well, that was a big league pop fly, to say the least. That thing went sky high, a mile in the air, and gave Holtorf plenty of time to get around the base paths and score a run. And it's not necessarily the exact situation I think that Hutch Russell was hoping he'd get on base, but he'll take an RBI any day of the week.
So now Tabor Stokes will be up to bat here in the first inning, playing in the DH spot tonight with a runner over at first base. And the first pitch is called strike one. And the Collegians are another team that have that same problem that we saw with, or that we mentioned with Liberal, that while their pitching can be there at times, they have a tendency to give up a lot of unearned runs. That was number 45 right there with Holtorf scoring. Count moves to 1-1 now for Stokes.
Unearned runs will kill a team. I mean, really, it really takes the wind out of a team's sail, because we've even seen games of the Larks this season. There was one game in particular against the BJs where both teams had the same amount of hits, but the BJs outscored them by 3 or 4 runs.
A deep fly into left field. Fox goes back to the wall, and it bounces off. Hutch Russell gets sent home from third by Ben Tinius. The left fielder still hasn't picked the ball up, and now he does. And Hutch Russell scores all the way from first base on an RBI double from Tabor Stokes, and the Larks lead 2-0.
That ball was crushed by Tabor Stokes. That thing had a chance. I think the only thing that really kept that thing in the ballpark was the fact that the wind is blowing pretty hard out of left field. The flagpole out there is really whipping, and I think that's about pretty much the only thing that kept that ball in the ballpark. It really, truly had a chance. I thought initially it looked like it went over, but it just barely missed that little yellow strip that runs across the top of the black wall out there in the outfield.
The Larks go to their 6-hole batter now, number 34, Tanner Norman. He was able to get on base in the last game without recording a hit, a season-high 3 walks for him. He is now the Larks leader in that category with 26. Awaits the pitch now from Tyler Kephart, and here it is. That one misses high and outside for ball 1. Ty Schmeidler will be on deck, followed by Austin Crawford and Dylan Hazelhorst as the Larks look to complete their first rotation through the order. Schmeidler's the only new face in the lineup tonight. Here's the 1-0. The runner takes off for third, and Stokes will slide in safely with plenty of time to spare. He's now 90 feet away from giving the Larks a 3-0 lead. The last pitch to Tanner Norman was a strike, so it's now 1-1.
Well, Stokes is known for having wheels. It's no surprise that he went ahead and tried to steal third base over there. I'm glad to see the Larks are being aggressive on the base paths tonight. They succeed a lot when they do that.
Norman fouls that one back into the net to the left side. 1 ball and 2 strikes now in the count. Kephart looking to end the inning. Both of the previous 2 outs were from his outfielders. And now Norman stays alive, fouling that one out of play. So far, the Larks have only scored 1 run, or 2 runs off of only 1 hit. That was the Tabor Stokes RBI double from just a moment ago. He currently stands over at third base off of a steal. Kephart comes set. Goes to his full windup, and that one is left up high. The count is even once again. The catcher gets it on the outside. That is the 3rd full count of the inning for the Larks against Tyler Kephart.
The Larks have certainly been making him work, not giving him any easy outs at the plate. That's really what's going to lead to the Larks' key. Their key to success here this evening is wear out those pitchers, wear out those arms, and cause them to go deep into their bullpen.
The payoff pitch is a line drive into foul territory right next to the batting cages.
Especially in a non-league matchup like this, ideally you want to try to force them to use more arms than they want to, because sometimes teams will put too many of their eggs in one basket in a non-league matchup, and that can really come back to bite a team on day 2 and 3 of the series.
Here is pitch number 8 from Kephart in the current at-bat, and that is ball number 4. Tanner Norman walks for the 27th time this season, and the Larks go to their 7-hole batter now, Ty Schmeidler. A little bit surprised also we haven't seen a mound meeting yet for the Collegians, but they're going to save those arms for the league games, even though they're out of the race for the World Series RMBL title. You still want to get those wins this late in the season, especially in their return to the RMBL this year. Schmeidler pops this one up. It'll go back behind the grandstand, making the count 0-1. Missing the strike zone again. That's ball 1 there from Kephart. Trying to look back and see who the pitcher was in the second matchup between the Larks and the Collegians, where the Larks won 23-2, because it took a while for the Collegians to make a change. And with a 2-1 count, they're now going to have a meeting.
I would agree in the fact that it is surprising they haven't had a mound meeting up to this point, especially considering just kind of the struggles that they've had with the batters of the play. There have been a lot of counts where the Larks have forced their pitching staff to go pretty deep into a count, and that's not exactly what you want to see as a coach, especially in the first inning as early as this contest is.
And I was able to find it. The starting pitcher in game number 2 was number 26, Vaughn Green, a freshman from Johnstown, Colorado. So he started that game, and they did not pull him out until he had given up 10 hits and 12 runs. So they're going to try to save arms, but they got to be careful to make sure this doesn't end in another run rule, because Boulder's had moments this season where they've given up a lot of runs.
Well, you mentioned that tonight, if it ends in a run rule, it ends after 5 innings. So you don't have a whole lot of time to keep them off the scoreboard or try to produce some more runs to keep yourself out of that run rule situation. So they've got to be really smart about how they approach this pitching duel here this evening.
Here's the 2-1. That drops to the outside for ball 3. Again, Kephart has appeared in 8 games with 20 innings pitched. 3 of those 8 appearances have been starts. He deals a fastball, and the bases are now loaded. The Larks have Tabor Stokes at third, Tanner Norman at second, and Ty Schmeidler over at first. And it's number 8, Austin Crawford, up to bat.
That's 3 walks already here in this inning, and that's just the first inning of play here. If you're Boulder, you've got to be a little bit nervous here, especially having these pitching struggles this early in this contest.
Crawford has a .226 average entering tonight's game. His first pitch misses upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. All 3 base runners are playing pretty close to their bag. Crawford's looking for his 15th hit of the season right here. Swings and misses on the inside, and that's the first strike.
This is a big spot here for Crawford. They can really break this game open early in this contest. That'd be really, really big for the Larks if they can get this one broken open early and maybe save themselves a little bit of physical exertion here later in this contest if they can end it in 5.
Going to the fastball again. It also misses outside. Count is tied at 2-1. Kephart taking his time. Now he deals the pitch. It's another swing and a miss. And it's now 2-2. The Larks still only have one hit this inning, the RBI double from Tabor Stokes. The other two base runners that are currently on were both walked. And now Crawford watches the 2-2 go by. And for the fourth time this inning, that's a full count. Three of the four Larks to face a full count have gotten on base. And there's ball four, then the third run of the game for the Larks. Austin Crawford walks and scores Tabor Stokes from third. So the Larks complete their full rotation through their order. They bring up the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter, who is batting ninth, Dylan Hazelhorst.
Still a big spot here. There's a lot of Larks on the base paths right at the moment. So if Dylan Hazelhorst can come through here in this spot, that would be really good for the Larks. They've already tacked on 3 runs, one of which was unearned, and then, of course, the other 2 were earned runs. But, you know, for Kephart, he's just looking to get out of this inning. Anything that it takes to get out of this inning, it doesn't matter if they've got to manufacture an out. That's what it's going to take for them. So that they've got to figure something out here. Otherwise, this is going to get out of hand really quickly.
Hazelhorst has 11 RBIs on the season. He's gotten all of them in bunches pretty much. His first pitch from Kephart is a strike. Hazelhorst, all 11 of his RBIs have came in just 3 games. He had a 5 RBI game against Newton on June 14th. Fast forward to, his first game that he recorded RBIs was June 2nd against Colorado with 4. Then he had the 5 RBI performance against Newton. His most recent game where he had RBIs was 4 days ago against Liberal, where he had 2. He's down with 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. Slider misses off to the side. 4-1. We'll see where the catcher puts his glove. And there's the swing and the miss on the 1-2 count. The Larks jump out to a 3-0 lead, leaving the bases loaded. And all 9 batters go up to the plate in that inning. And we'll see how they respond when we come back, as it's the middle part of Boulder's order up next. Welcome back to Hayes, Kansas for the top of the second inning. The Larks scored 3 runs in the bottom of the first off of only 1 hit. And Boulder also committed 1 error and the bases were left loaded. Now the Collegians have the middle part of their order up next to face Carson Lyles, who deals a ball to number 7, Ethan Fillinger. One of the new players for the Collegians. Fillinger is a freshman from Northern Colorado. And now the next pitch is hit over to the shortstop, Austin Crawford, who's unable to get there in time. There is Boulder's first hit of the game.
Well, Crawford made the right play in that situation. He went down to one knee trying to slide into that ball and make the play, but he just couldn't quite get his body in front of it. And instead of trying to tip that ball off its course and make it a harder play for the left fielder, Holtorf, he went ahead and just let it through. And I think that was the right decision there to go ahead and let that ball through instead of giving up an extra base.
The right fielder out of Queen Creek, Arizona, Caden Cooper, bats 5th in the order. He is a sophomore from Glendale Community College. And he pops up his first pitch into left field. Holtorf will get under it, and he makes the catch for the first out. With the runner over at first base, number 18, Logan Carney, now steps up to the plate. Carney has appeared in the most games among the batters for the Collegians. This is number 23 for him. And he's been one of their top batters as well. 4 home runs and 20 RBIs with a .301 average to go with it. Lyles' first pitch to him is a curveball that gets past the shortstop once again, and both runners will advance to their next stations.
That hit was a laser out into left field. That thing had a lot of steam coming off of it. Crawford really didn't have a whole lot of a chance to get a play on that ball just as quick as that came off the bat.
The DH bats 7th. That is number 24, Riley Hall, a sophomore from Quincy University, coming into tonight's game on a 5-game hit streak. Lyles comes set, looks back at second base, now deals the pitch. That one goes low for a ball. E.J. Lanes will be up next, followed by Skylar Daniel and Britton Fox to the top of Boulder's order. Lyles kicks and deals, goes to the outside part of the plate, and Riley Hall's ahead 2-0. Hall only played in 2 games this season at Quincy University. He did not play in 2025. And his next pitch is a swing and a miss for the first strike. Lyles comes into tonight's game with a 2-1 record with 8 relief appearances, and this being his second start of the year. Now the pitch to untie the count is fouled to the backstop for strike 2. The ball gets thrown to the Larks third base dugout. Riley Hall down to his last strike. Lyles already has 1 K tonight, and he gets a full count right there.
Wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to that lower inside corner. He's gotten a couple swings and misses from him in this at bat on that corner, and see if he can't generate some weak contact or get a strikeout.
This one's fouled down the first base line. Riley Hall stays alive, awaiting pitch number 7 now. Lyles has faced some short at-bats up to this point. The longest one was the second and third batters, who both only had 3 pitches thrown to him. This will be number 7 right here to Riley Hall. And here it is. This is grounded right back up to Lyles, goes off of his glove. He will look over at first base and get it to Tanner Norman in time for the second out. And now the Collegians have 2 runners in scoring position. Ethan Fillinger goes to third base, and Logan Carney over to second.
Well, you got to give props to Lyles there in a play like that. Even despite kind of losing his wits about him on that play when he was trying to field it, it was a tough ball to field, and he was able to collect himself, get his composure, and make the good throw over to first base and secure the out. That was an important out for the Larks because now they're not at risk to a sacrifice fly here in this situation.
The Larks just need one more out to keep those runners stranded here in the top of the second inning. Number 8, E.J. Lanes, is up to bat. Lyles goes inside to him and deals a ball. Lanes is a Division II player for Boulder. He just played his freshman year at MSU Denver. And now the 1-0. Lyles goes to that curveball once again and finds the strike zone. That's been his specialty pitch so far tonight. Hazelhorse centers the glove. The 1-1 misses on the inside. The count is all tied up with 2 outs and the runners at third and second. Lyles delivers a line drive, and it stays fair. That's going to score 1 and 2 for the Collegians. It's a base-clearing RBI double for E.J. Lanes to cut the Larks' lead down to 1.
That was a big hit there from E.J. Lanes, coming up big in a really crucial spot for the Collegians. With 2 outs, the only thing he could do was put that ball into play in order to score some runs, and that hit was perfectly placed down that third base line. It just hugged the line down that third base side.
The Collegians now go to their last batter. That's number 3, Skylar Daniel, the future New Mexico Lobo. Will chop this one just foul down the first base line. The count is 0-1 with 2 outs. Collegians have had 3 hits so far this inning after going 3 up, 3 down in the first. Daniel's played in 15 games. Tonight is his 16th. He's recorded 6 hits, and he swings and misses at the next pitch. He is now behind 0-2. Lyles will now go for his second strikeout of the game. His first one was also on an 0-2 count against the 2-hole batter Parker Noah. Lyles' pitch is a swing and a miss, and there is out number 3. It's his second strikeout of the game, and the Collegians scored 2 runs there in the top of the second inning. Ethan Fillinger and Logan Carney both got on through singles, and they are brought home on a 2 RBI double from E.J. Lanes. Bottom of the second is up next here on the Larks Network. Boulder's able to cut the Larks lead down to 1, getting 2 runs on 3 hits and leaving 1 runner stranded in the top half of the second inning. And now we'll see what the Larks can do. They went through their entire lineup in the first inning, so they are back to the top of their order with number 3, Rainer Bean, to face number 9, Tyler Kephart. The first pitch of the inning is on its way, and it bounces on home plate. The count begins 1-0. In that first inning, the Larks only recorded 1 hit, and 1 of their runs was scored on an error. They've done a good job showing plate discipline early, and now here's the 1-0. That misses upstairs for ball 2. 4 of the first 9 batters were walked. That included Cooper Holtorf, who's on deck, and then Tanner Norman and Ty Schmeidler and Austin Crawford all walked 3 in a row. Here's the pitch, and the curveball's in the zone. It's now 2 balls and 1 strike to the freshman out of Valiant, Oklahoma. The catcher wants the pitch right down the middle, and here it comes. Big swing there for Rainer Bean. He misses at it. The count is now 2-2 from the Colorado Mesa commit, Tyler Kephart. The catcher wants it in that same spot once again. Here's the pitch. And Rainer Bean thought about going around, but held back just enough. He works up to a full count.
Larks are really working that pitch count already here in these first 2 innings, and that's going to really play to their benefit in the later parts of this game. We've seen this time and time again this season where they can really wear a pitcher down, wear that arm out, and then you get to those later innings and they can really start to tack on some runs.
Payoff pitch goes low, and that's ball 4. Rainer Bean becomes the 5th Lark to walk tonight. That brings up number 1, Cooper Holtorf. He also walked on a full count in his first appearance and scored that first run off of the E6 error, which came when Hutch Russell was batting. Kephart taking his time. Here's the pitch. The runner takes off for second base. The pitch was called strike 1 and no throws made. Rainer Bean gets a successful steal. The Larks are being a little bit more aggressive on the base path here early on in this one. That's now steal number 3 tonight, which is something we haven't really seen in these last few games. They've kind of relied more on the batter to advance the runners, but they've been able to get on the base path pretty well tonight. This one's hit into center field. Parker Noah makes a short jog to go get it. He makes the catch, and tagging up at second base is Rainer Bean, getting over to third.
Still a very productive out there from Cooper Holtorf. Although it's not the result he was looking for, you advance that guy over to third base, and now he's just 90 feet away from scoring that run.
Trent Baker is up to bat, 3rd in the order. His first appearance was an 8-pitch at-bat that resulted in a fly out to right field. Kephart's first pitch to Baker is drilled deep into left field. Fox goes back for it, and goodbye. That's a 2-run home run for Trent Baker, and the Larks lead 5-2.
That ball was crushed out to left field. Man, what a blast from Trent Baker. He is the guy that gets it done when you need him the most, and Trent Baker is such a vet for this team. He's such really a rock for this team to really kind of build around, so to speak, and he just brings a different kind of energy to this clubhouse and to this team, and I think that head coach Frank Leo really values his leadership on this Larks team, and right there he came up big and was able to send a 2-run blast out to left.
Trent Baker gets to put on the cowboy hat for the 3rd time this season with that 2-run home run. Now with 1 away, here's Hutch Russell. He has dealt a ball on his first pitch. He will be followed by Tabor Stokes and Tanner Norman. When Hutch Russell was batting in the first inning, there were 2 outs on the board. This time there's only 1. This started a streak of 5 Larks batters to get on base. And now Russell's ahead 2-0. Russell's count was 2-1 in his first appearance. His was the E6 play. And now he works to another 2-1 count, fouling this one back into the glove of the Collegians catcher, E.J. Lanes, but it got away from him. And the pitch to untie the count goes low, and the fastball makes it 3-1.
It's been really fun to watch Hutch Russell here this season, just with him having that family connection to the Hayes Larks, and then on top of that, going to go play Division I baseball at Kansas at the University of Kansas. It's just a neat experience to get to watch a guy of his caliber play at this level, especially with the team that he has around him.
He will walk on that 3-1 count, getting over to first base. Tabor Stokes is now at to bat. Stokes had that RBI double back in the first inning. He now has brought home 13 runs this season. And the curveball finds the zone, making the count 0-1. And I feel like both pitchers have relied on them on that tonight. Lyles has been able to drop it in the zone, and now Kephart's starting to do it as well.
Kephart's been able to find it from time to time, but it hasn't been as reliable as it's been for Lyles. We'll see if he can get it going.
The runner takes off for second base, and this one goes way out into center field. And Russell looked over at third base, but Ben Tinius will keep him at second base. And I think the Collegians are lucky that their catcher didn't put a lot of power on that ball, because that thing, if it went any further, that would have been another base.
That was the right call from Tinius over there on third base to go ahead and keep him there on second. And you're right. It's just because of the fact he didn't put very much arm behind that throw, and it kind of just dribbled its way out into shallow right. And for Russell, I think he has the wheels on a play like that to get over to third, but it would have been really close. And you don't want to risk putting yourself in a two-out situation, especially with a guy in scoring position now.
2-1 is the count to Stokes. With his double in the first inning, he now extends his hit streak to 6 games. Now he has a chance to get on base again. The count moves to 3-1. Kephart deals a foul ball there from Stokes, going behind the grandstand again into the parking lot of doom. And that's another Lark that works up to a full count. Stokes awaiting the pitch. Kephart only has 1 strikeout tonight. And he was unable to get number 2 right there. That one just missed the zone, and it's another walk.
That was close, but it seemed like Tabor Stokes knew it was a ball pretty much from the moment that it went into that catcher's mitt. He was already throwing that bat behind him, getting ready to go down to first base. So from up here, it looked really close, but maybe at the plate it wasn't as close as it looked up here. It's kind of deceiving up here sometimes.
That's now 7 walks for the starter, Kephart, and his head coach is making his way out to the mound for a meeting, and Boulder's already warming up some arms out in right field. We could see a change here in just a little bit.
Well, I think that they're lucky that this game is as close as it is right now, especially with 7 total walks already in this contest. Having a score of 5-2 is really not that big of a margin, not nearly as big as you would expect in a game that has 7 walks already in the first 2 innings.
We'll see if we can get a look at who's in right field. It's a little bit hard to tell with how far of a distance it is. But there's a coach and another player in there. And also Boulder, their numbers are only on the back of their jersey, so that makes it difficult as well. It looks like number 0, which they actually don't have a number 0 listed on their roster. So anybody's guess is as good as mine, I guess.
Tis the struggles of this conference at times. It can be a little tricky. Another thing I actually noted tonight, the roster is not in number order. It's actually in alphabetical order on their list for whatever reason that is. I don't fully understand that either, but everybody's got their preferences.
With 2 runners on, Tanner Norman makes his second appearance. And the first pitch to him is drilled deep into right field. Cooper goes back to the warning track, and it bounces off the Midwest Energy logo. Tinius will send one and hold the other. That is Hutch Russell crossing home plate and extending the Larks' lead to 6-2. Norman showing that he can have the plate discipline and also put some power on the ball. That one looked like it had a chance to be a home run. It just landed right in between the ground and the top of the wall.
Well, let me tell you, Tabor Stokes was on the heels of Hutch Russell when he was rounding second base. Hutch Russell really had to put it in gear to get home on that play. Tabor Stokes, I think, could have been right behind him if he would have been sent from third base, but I think that was good there from them to go ahead and only just send one guy, especially with only one out on the board.
And the first pitch to Ty Schmeiler goes right by his knees. Count is 1-0. Schmeiler walked on a 3-1 count in his first appearance. And he takes a big swing in the top part of the zone for the first strike. Schmeiler has 7 hits in 6 games. Is primarily used by the Larks as a pitcher. And he's also had 1 appearance as a pinch hitter, which was on June 17th against the Game Day Angels. And he will get hit by the next pitch. Or it looked like he got hit, but I think they're going to call that a wild pitch. That scores Tabor Stokes and moves Tanner Norman to third.
I'm wondering if he made a swinging motion as he was trying to get out of the box to get out of the way of that pitch. Sometimes guys will turn their back and subconsciously they'll come around with their bat, and sometimes it'll go down as a swing. I'm not really sure what happened there.
The scoreboard in right field reads that the count is 2-1, so no, it is not being changed. That was a ball to Schmeidler, and now here's the next pitch. He thought about going around. It misses on the inside corner, and just like his last appearance, there's 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Schmeidler must have been able to get closer to home plate, close enough to get out of the way of that ball. It may have just snuck right behind him, but it looked like from up here that it may have hit him.
Here's the pitch from Kephart, and that's ball 4. That is another walk for the Larks. It's the second time Schmeiler's been walked, and this might be the end of the night for Tyler Kephart. His coach is making his way out to the mound, and the pitcher that is in the bullpen is making his way out. We'll be back in just a moment to Larks Park, and we'll see who the new pitcher is. So Tyler Kephart gets subbed out for the Boulder Collegians with 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. The Larks have put up 4 runs in this inning, and the new pitcher is not listed on Game Changer or on the program roster for tonight. And all we know is that his last name is Burnett. So the first pitch is a strike, and the throw down to second base goes over the head of the shortstop and the second baseman. And scoring from third is Tanner Norman, and the Larks lead 8-2. So that is the second error of the game as well for the Collegians. And that first pitch to Austin Crawford was a strike. The fastball is chopped over to the second baseman Daniel. On the run, he throws it to his first baseman, and that is out number 2.
Not a completely unproductive out there from Crawford. Obviously not what he was looking for at the plate, but still was able to advance that guy over to third base, and now they've got a guy 90 feet away.
Next up is number 29, Dylan Hazelhorst. Tonight's 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter, making his second appearance at the plate. Facing the new pitcher. I'll try to figure out who that is. I'll let everybody know what the full name is. But he deals a strike there to Hazelhorst to make the count 0-1.
Well, I'm getting flashbacks to last season when we had a mystery man on the mound, and this is a similar situation, I think, where you have somebody on the mound that's you don't always know who it is, but I suppose the last name is better than nothing. We don't have to call him number 0 or what have you.
Here's the pitch on the 1-1 count, and that's strike 2.
Well, I noticed a couple of our viewers this evening have beat me to the punch already, but it's Hank's birthday today. And Hank, we're not at the age yet where it's rude to ask how old you're turning. So how old are you turning today?
This is my 20th birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Hank, and we appreciate everything that you do for us here on the Larks Network. And here's some more life.
Thank you, Eli, and thank you, everybody in the live chat. 2-2 is the count, and I'm taking an educated guess on who the pitcher is. I think that his first name is Maddox. I just pulled up my phone and went to Boulder's Instagram page, looked up who they follow and who their followers are, typed in Burnett, and that's what came up, or that was the only thing that came up. So I'm going to go with that, and Hazelhorst was just hit by a pitch on a 2-2 count. The Larks will now go back to the top of their order for the 3rd time tonight and 2nd time in this inning. So Rainer Bean is up. He has gotten 1 run, which was a walk, and he stole 2 bases in that appearance as well. Throw goes back to first base. And Hazelhorst slides back in time. Over at third base right now is Ty Schmeidler. And this one goes by the head of Rainer Bean. The count moves to 1-0. Looking at this new pitcher, Maddox Burnett. He's from Erie, Colorado. Also has some experience as an outfielder, and he's actually a Division I baseball commit. According to Prep Baseball Report, he's committed to play in the Big 12 next year for BYU.
Well, he must be pretty legit. He's committed to go play at BYU. That's playing really, I mean, considering it is, a lot of people would consider it mid-major. I consider the Big 12 a major conference. I think.
Don't tell me the Big 12's mid-major.
I agree that it's a major conference. A lot of people consider it mid-major. Personally, I think it's a major conference.
There's a single from Rainer Bean on the 2-0 count. Hazelhorst moves to second base, and the Larks lead by 7. That's Ty Schmeidler getting his first run of the night, and Rainer Bean's first RBI. Holtorf is now the 11th batter to appear at the plate this inning. Burnett looks back at second base, and he hits another Larks batter. The bases will be loaded for Trent Baker, and he already has a home run tonight. Earlier in this inning, it was a 2-run home run out into left field. First pitch to Baker. He had a half-hearted swing. They'll say he didn't go around. The count is 1-0. I think we got some fans chirping in the crowd. It's those ones that you see on TikTok where the guy says, "You bum."
I heard that too. You're not imagining things. I also heard that.
Baker's ahead with 2 balls and no strikes. If Baker scores 1 more run, this will be the 15th time the Larks surpass 10 runs in a game. There is ball 3.
To your point about Big 12, I think, in my opinion, the fact that the Big 10 and the SEC and some of those other conferences get more recognition than the Big 12 to me is quite appalling, because the Big 12 has elite sports at all levels in terms of football, basketball, baseball, whatever the case is. They have elite sports, elite teams that play at that level. And I think sometimes that conference can be even more difficult than conferences like the SEC, because you have big powerhouse teams that just dominate the division, as opposed to the Big 12 where every team is a contender, and so you just fight each other all season long. You tear each other apart, and sometimes it kind of throws everybody off in terms of their playoff hopes.
There is ball 4 to Trent Baker, and the Larks lead 10-2. He is on base for the second time tonight, and Dylan Hazelhorse scores his first run. 3 RBIs tonight for Trent Baker, sending Cooper Holtorf to second and Rainer Bean to third, and bringing up the 4-hole batter Hutch Russell with his signature walk-up song, "God Gave Me Style" by 50 Cent. Russell is one of 2 Larks with multiple runs tonight, along with Tabor Stokes. The catcher again wants the pitch down the middle. Russell fouls the pitch out of play for strike 1. Tabor Stokes will be up next, and then Tanner Norman is in the hole. Hutch Russell is the 13th Larks batter here at the plate in the bottom of the second inning. The Larks have scored 7 runs, and now they get a fly ball into right field. And Cooper is tracking it down. He gets the catch for out number 3, and that retires the side. But the Larks add 7 more runs to lead 10-2, and the top of the third is up next.
We welcome you back to Larks Park. It's the top of the third inning. Got to change things up a little bit in terms of our order of operations this evening, with it being a 7-inning contest. So I'm going to take the next two, and then Hank will have the last three. Leading things off for the Collegians here in the top of the third is the top of the order for them, Britton Fox, the left fielder. Grounded out to Lyles his first time up. The count is 2-1 after that pitch drops in for a strike. Larks leading it 10-2. Nobody out and nobody on base here in the top of the third. The 2-1 is fouled back into the net. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lyles works the baseball in his hands, puts his glove back on his left hand. Looks home, finds the pitch he wants, comes set, deals the 2-2. Swing and a miss. It's a drop third strike. Hazelhorse will go recover it, throw it down to first base. They get the out, and it's a strikeout for Carson Lyles. That brings up the center fielder, Parker Noah. He struck out his first time up. One of the 3 strikeouts that Lyles has now accrued over these first 3 innings, rather. Or 2 1/3, I guess I should say. First pitch to him is swung on and missed. A slider over the outer half for strike 1. Lyles so far has given up 3 hits on 2 runs. 1 left on base on no errors. The 0-1. Another swing and a miss. Same location as last time over the outer half of the plate. Count moves to 0-2. Parker steps up to the plate. Lyles turns, deals the 0-2. It misses high in the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Noah rests his bat just behind his black helmet. Now the 1-2. A curveball just missing over the inner half of the zone. Two balls and 2 strikes now the count to Noah. Lyles shakes his head no, now finds the pitch he wants. Turns out of the full windup. The 2-2 is swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Carson Lyles. Back-to-back Ks to start the third inning. He'll look to retire the side now with the 3-hole hitter, Yale Johnson.
And it's not just this inning that Lyles has done a good job at finding the strike zone, but another thing that people might not even consider that helps him out is the fact that they have this 8-run lead, that he can work the zone around a lot, and he has no pressure trying to get the batters out.
The first pitch of the at-bat to Johnson is a curveball missing on the inner half. The count 1 ball and no strikes to the third baseman. The pitch. That one drops over the inner half. A strike off the curveball. Johnson looked back to the home plate umpire in a look of confusion. Didn't think that one dropped in the inner half. Now the 1-1. A big swing and a miss on a pitch that was well into the turf. A curveball that had a lot of break on it is a successful pitch for Carson Lyles. Now the count moves to 1-2. Lyles turns, deals. The 1-2 pitch is gutted right up the middle. It takes 1 hop in front of the feet of Baker, who throws it back into the infield. And after striking out the first 2 batters, Carson Lyles will give up a single in the top of the third inning with 2 down.
Before we get to this next batter, I do want to add that I just got confirmation from the Larks dugout that if the Larks go up by 10 and we go to the bottom of the 5th inning or so, this is going to be a 5th inning run rule tonight.
Maybe a short broadcast potentially tonight, folks. Of course, Hank will have our on-field post-game interviews, of course, after the game, and that's under the assumption that the Larks win, that the Collegians don't pull back some miracle comeback. That's not out of the question. It ain't over till it's over. 2 balls and no strikes, the count to Fillinger. Fillinger, the shortstop, last time up was able to reach on a single. He is one of the 2 runs that the Collegians have scored here in this contest as he belts one out to right field. It'll go way foul. Past the bullpen for the Collegians. 2 balls and 1 strikes now the count to the shortstop Fillinger. The Collegians wearing gray tops and gray bottoms. Teal and black accents around the sleeves. Numbers only on the back in black. As that pitch drops on over the outer half for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike now the count. Pretty standard road uniforms, though, for the Collegians. The 3-1. Misses over the outer half. It's a base on balls. And that is the first walk of the night given up by Carson Lyles. Really no action as of right now in the bullpen. It looks like maybe 1 or 2 pitchers may have just gone into the bullpen. So we'll see if there's any changes that are made here later in this one. But as of right now, Carson Lyles has pitched a pretty good game so far.
Well, the thing is, you want to get some experience for your guys in these non-league games, but keep in mind the Larks are tied for first in the RMBL, and they still have a chance to win the title outright. So they need to save those arms for these next 2 games, especially because I don't even know what the score is right now between Liberal and Dodge, with that one being an RMBL game.
That one obviously has very big implications on the RMBL picture, with the BJs being as close with the Larks as they are, and Dodge City being not far behind them. They're still a pretty talented team, to say the least. As that one dribbles down the third base line, it stays fair. No, he called foul. The home plate umpire called foul.
It stopped like directly on the line.
It stopped on the line. I mean, literally on the line. I'm in disbelief that ball stopped where it did. I mean, it just sat there on that third base line. And if this was T-ball, they would say it's not a hit because of the fact that they usually have an inner circle. Now, obviously, this isn't T-ball, but that ball, to give you some perspective, didn't make it far from the plate. I mean, it maybe made it 15 feet down the third base line. The final out of the inning is fielded by Crawford. He threw it over to Russell for a 6-4 out over at second base. No runs on 1 hit and no errors for the Larks. They leave 2 on base in the top of the third. The Larks lead it 10-2 going into the bottom of the third. We welcome you back to Larks Park. Larks leading at 10-2 here in the bottom of the third inning. Leading things off, Tabor Stokes batting in the designated hitter position here this evening. He awaits the first pitch. First pitch to Stokes is outside over the outer half. Stokes batting in the 5-hole spot this evening for the Larks. Had an RBI double his first time up, as there's a pass ball for ball 2. And then scored all the way home on a base on balls his last time up. So he's 1 for 2 in the contest with an RBI double and a stolen base as well this evening. The 2-0 is high and inside on Stokes. Now 3 balls and no strikes the count. The 3-0 misses low, and it's a walk for Tabor Stokes. That brings up the 6-hole hitter, Tanner Norman. So with a runner on first and nobody out, and an 8-run lead, the left-handed hitter and first baseman, Tanner Norman, steps up to the plate. But not before Burnett has a chance to throw back over to first to try to hold Tabor Stokes honest at first base. First pitch to Norman, misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes the count.
Got some T-shirts going in the air here at Larks Park for those of you wondering what all the hands are up for.
I was kind of hopeful they'd try to launch one up here to us, but they haven't displayed the arm strength yet to get it up here.
Well, they'd have the ability to do it. It's the Hammer baseball players.
I mean, I would think so, but they hadn't really put it on full display yet. So I figure they probably did have the ability. They just hadn't tried it out. Maybe less of arm strength, more of the accuracy side of things.
They almost hit our scoreboard operator just a moment ago,
They
actually.
did. It was close. It was close.
Probably hit the side of the window if I had to guess.
2 balls and no strikes. Norman fouls that one away into the neighborhood behind Larks Park. The count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. The home plate umpire will reload on some baseballs from the Larks ball boy. And now play will resume. Burnett comes set. The 2-1. A wild pitch. And it nailed Norman. Take a moment there to kind of recollect himself. That thing really had some steam on it. Didn't exactly see where that pitch hit him, but I'm hearing that it hit him in the leg, and that is not a comfortable spot to get hit. Certainly not lower legs. That's not ideal. So Norman will take a moment to kind of recollect himself, and now I think we're going to see a pitching change. So we'll have a pitching change when we come back. A new pitcher on the hill for the Collegians. Welcome you back to Larks Park. A new pitcher on the hill for the Collegians. It is number 33, Gavin Sparks. He takes to the rubber. The first pitch from him is a fastball that's low to Ty Schmeidler, the left-handed hitter.
And for Sparks, this is his first appearance since June 16th, so I'd assume Boulder's saving some of their more fresh arms for league play in the next 2 days. But it has been a month since they've seen Sparks on the mound.
The 1-0 misses outside. The count moves to 2-0 to Schmeidler. 2 balls and no strikes. Schmeidler waves his black bat just behind his helmet, resting it on his shoulder. Sparks kicks and deals. The 2-0 misses outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Nobody out, and runners on first and second for the Larks. Tanner Norman wore one on the leg just moments before this, and that was the end of the day for Maddox Burnett. The 3-0. Is ball 4 as it misses over the outer half. Ty Schmeidler will have a walk. That is his 3rd walk this evening. 3 straight walks for Ty Schmeidler. So now the bases are juiced, and Austin Crawford, the shortstop, steps up to the dish. Nobody out, bases loaded, and the 8-hole hitter and shortstop, wearing number 8 for the Larks, Austin Crawford, steps up to the plate. 0 for 2 this evening in tonight's contest. First pitch to Crawford misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes, and that's 5 straight balls from the relief pitcher, Gavin Sparks.
And for Sparks, this is just his 3rd game also of the season, and something that's worth noting is that he did not play this last season at the collegiate level. He took a gap year, last played at Augustana University in 2025, and he's transferring to the Division II level this upcoming year.
1-0 pitch was swung on and missed by Austin Crawford, and that's the first strike that Gavin Sparks has thrown. The 1-1. That one's a rocket over the inner half for strike 2. Sparks lets his throwing arm hang just behind his back leg. He comes set. Now deals the 1-2. That one misses over the outer half. Into that right-handed batter's box. Now the count moves to 2-2. Sparks certainly in a jam here with the bases loaded and nobody out. Crawford stands at the ready. The pitch. Crawford fouls that one away. Over to the green area, the green space just behind the concession stand, that picnic pavilion area, and that almost nailed somebody over there. That came very close. Thank goodness that didn't hit anyone. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count now after the foul ball. Sparks come set. The pitch. That one missing high and outside. Just got out of the glove of Leans behind home plate. Full count now to the shortstop, Crawford. Sparks looks home, settles on a pitch and comes set. The payoff pitch. Misses outside for ball 4, and he'll walk a run in with nobody out. The bases stay loaded. And now the Larks jump out to a 9-run lead with a score of 11-2. That is 2 straight walks to start the outing for Gavin Sparks. And now the 9-hole hitter and 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter, Dylan Hazelhorst, steps up to the plate. The first pitch to Hazelhorst is grounded over to the second baseman, Daniel. It gets away from his glove, and it'll be an RBI single. So all the fans at Larks Park are certainly happy now, as they'll have some discounted alcohol down by the concession stand over in the Larks Nest.
And the line is already forming. I'd have to wonder if there's some fans that know that in some cases the beverage batter is going to get a lot of hits and they just hang out there the entire time.
You know, that's certainly an interesting theory. I wouldn't doubt that possibly is it's a possibility, I'm sure, as there's usually a mass exodus of people from this grandstand that gets up and goes down whenever the 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter does get a hit. Bases remain loaded. Top of the order for the Larks. Back up to the plate is Rainer Bean. He starts the count 1 ball and 1 strike. (12-2) the score now for the Larks. The 1-1 to Bean. Misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Sparks looks home. Now comes set. The 2-1. That one misses once again over the outer half, and Sparks has really been living on the outer half of the plate this evening. And most of these at-bats from the Larks, and it seems like he's just really struggling to find the outer half of the strike zone. 3-1 count to Bean, the pitch. Misses way outside. It won't matter, despite that ball getting loose behind home plate. That'll be a base on balls for Rainer Bean, and Ty Schmeidler will come in to score. Now the score moves to 13-2 with nobody out and the bases loaded. That brings up the 2-hole hitter, wearing number 1 for the Larks, Cooper Holtorf. He's playing left field this evening as he pops that one up. And they will make the catch for the first out of the inning. That was a much-needed out for the Collegians as things are really starting to get out of hand here. The Larks have already tacked on 3 runs here in the bottom of the 3rd. That brings up the center fielder wearing number 2 for the Larks, Trent Baker. Baker blasted a 2-run homer out to left field in his his second at bat in the bottom of the 2nd inning. That really is kind of what started the onslaught of runs from the Larks in the bottom of the second, who tacked on 7 runs in that inning. The count starts 1-0 to Trent Baker. 3 RBIs for Baker here this evening. The 1-0. This one's fouled out of play into the parking lot of doom. That one looked like it came very close to hitting a car. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Baker. Baker playing center field tonight for the Larks. He awaits the 1-1. The pitch. That one's popped up sky high. That thing is above the stadium lights as it lands right next to the batting cage for the Larks, close to the bullpen. With that foul ball, the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Baker awaits the pitch. Sparks kicks and deals. The 1-2 is belted out to right field. It won't have the distance, and it'll slice foul. Count remains at 1-2. Baker and Sparks still going at it. Sparks comes set. The pitch. This one into the turf. Baker will tell Austin Crawford to stay put on third base. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sparks sets, kicks, deals, and that one's fouled away. That one sounded like it hit something. I'm not exactly sure what it hit, if it hit his ankle guard. I think that is likely what that hit. But nonetheless, it'll go down as a foul ball, and the count stays at 2-2. It's possible that it may have hit his back ankle. That's what it kind of looked like. That back ankle doesn't have an ankle guard on it, so that would have been pretty much just straight force into that ankle. There's not a lot you can really do. Those are really tricky foul balls to get out of the way of and trying to avoid. Two balls and 2 strikes the count. Baker taps home plate once with his bat and then taps his front foot. The 2-2 pitch. This one's chopped foul. Goes right into the Collegians dugout down the first base side.
This is about to be the second time tonight that Trent Baker's had an 8-pitch at-bat, with this one coming up right here.
Well, Larks have done an excellent job here this evening of really working the counts on these Collegians pitchers. The Collegians already have thrown 3 arms this evening. The 2-2. It's fouled away once again. Baker has made this a rather lengthy at-bat. Just to put it into perspective, it's already 8:41 here this evening. First pitch came at 7:04. So this one has been already over an hour and a half long, and this game was only intended to go 7 innings. As now there's one to the turf. It's a pass ball, and Crawford will score easily at home. 14-2 the score now in favor of the Larks. They're on pace for a run rule, which we mentioned would come in the 5th inning. And if the score holds and maintains the same, if the Larks were to go into the top of the 5th with a 10-run or more lead and come out of the top of the 5th with a 10-run or more lead, they won't bat, obviously, in the bottom of the 5th inning. So really it would be 4.5 innings played in the grand scheme of things. Baker remains at the dish. The payoff pitch is high and inside on Baker, and that will load the bases up once again. So now Hazelhorse stands on third base. Bean stands on second. Baker stands on first. And Hutch Russell stands at the plate with a chance to continue to pour it on here for the Larks. The first pitch to Russell is outside. 1 ball and no strikes the count to the University of Kansas commit. The 1-0 from Sparks. That one just dots the outer half of the plate. Russell shaking his head in disagreement of that call. It's a righty-lefty matchup here. Russell, a left-handed batter, standing on that back line of the box. The 1-1. That one looked like it was almost the same spot as the last pitch. This time, the home plate umpire says it was too far outside. So the count stays, or the count moves to 2-1 rather. The 2-1 pitch. Misses over the outer half once again. 3 balls and 1 strike, the count to Russell.
That one definitely looked like it hit the outside corner on the more high part.
I would agree there, Hank. I think that one looked like more of a strike than the first one that he called. 3-1. A big swing and a miss from Russell. That one was below the knees of Russell, and I think it was a slider that broke really late over the plate that just kind of crossed him up in that left-handed batter's box. So now a chance for Gavin Sparks to secure the second out of the inning here. A big breath, now the payoff pitch. Misses into the turf outside, and another run will score. The Larks have officially batted the order, and that'll bring back up to the plate Tabor Stokes, the 5-hole hitter.
And just to put into perspective for everybody how many batters the Larks have had tonight, with Tabor Stokes batting now, I'm putting this current at-bat in the 5th inning column on my score sheet.
As am I, which is just unreal considering we're only in the 3rd inning at this point. The lead now for the Larks up to 13 runs as Tabor Stokes pops one up a mile high out into shallow right field. There to track it down is the second baseman, Daniel. He makes the catch for out number 2. That was a long run for the second baseman, Daniel, to go make that play. I'm actually a little bit surprised the first baseman, Carney, didn't go and try and make that play, but nonetheless, Daniel gets the job done for out number 2, and that brings up the first baseman, Tanner Norman.
Well, that was the right decision there by the Collegians to make that play, because if that landed in fair territory and Hutch Russell had a lead over at first base, they'd have a chance for a double play with Carney covering.
A fresh count for Norman. The first pitch to him is below the knees over the inner half for ball 1. Sparks letting that back arm swing just behind his back leg. The 1-0. This one also misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Norman adjusts his helmet, twirls his black bat through the zone. Now holds it at the ready with his red, white, and blue batting gloves just behind his helmet. The 2-0. This one missing outside. 3 balls and no strikes the count. 2 down and the bases loaded for the Larks. A 13-run lead in favor of the good guys. A 3-0 pitch, misses outside. It's ball 4. Another base on balls. Tanner Norman will make his way down to first base. Rainer Bean will score. And that will advance Trent Baker and Hutch Russell a base. That brings up the right fielder, Ty Schmeidler, for the second time this inning. So far in this outing, Ty Schmeidler has reached base all 3 at-bats. All have been from walks. All of those base on balls, I might add, not hit by pitches at all. All of those have been base on balls. So he is yet to really be challenged at the plate here this evening. So after a quick visit with Sparks on the mound, we're about ready to resume play. Schmeidler holds his back foot on the back chalk line in the turf batting box. Standing in that left-handed batter's box. The first pitch to him comes below the knees. Really close to his ankles, actually, over the inner half of the plate for a ball. The 1-0. That one's chopped over to the shortstop. Fillinger, he makes the throw over to second base. Daniels there to secure out number 3. The Larks tack on 6 more runs. They lead at 16-2 after the bottom of the 3rd inning. We go to the top of the 4th when we come back on the Larks Network. Welcome you back to Larks Park. There's a new pitcher on the hill for the hometown team. Justin Piñardo steps up to the hill. Pretty efficient day on the mound for Carson Lyles. 3 innings on 2 runs allowed and 4 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. The first pitch to the leadoff batter in 6-hole spot, Logan Carney, misses over the inner half for a ball. The 1-0. That one drops over the outer half of the plate for a strike. A little bit of a different look for the Larks as now they have a lefty on the hill as opposed to the righty that started the game in Carson Lyles, the 1-1. That one's fouled away, way out of play into the parking lot of Doom. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to the 6-hole hitter, Logan Carney. Carney accounts for 1 of the 4 hits tonight from the Collegians. He had a single and is also accounting for 1 of the 2 runs that they scored in the top of the 2nd inning as he fouls another one away into the parking lot of Doom. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count to the first baseman, Carney. Piñardo deals. The 1-2 is fouled way out of play. That one back into the parking lot of Doom. Once again, that's 3 straight foul balls over to the parking lot. And they don't joke whenever they call it the parking lot of Doom. It is a dangerous place to park your vehicle.
I can speak from experience that is true.
The 1-2. A curveball up in the zone. A diving play from Russell. It gets past him, and it rolls out into the outfield. Baker is there to scoop it up, and that's 2 singles on the night for Logan Carney.
It was a different pitch that time from Piñardo as well. He relies on that 12-6 curve, and Carney able to make contact with it after seeing a lot of fastballs at first.
That 12-6 curve can be really deceiving, too. Sometimes it's really difficult to control the break on a pitch like that. It starts really high in the zone and drops. That's the reason they call it 12-6. It's referring to the positions on a clock. It goes from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and it goes really quick. It breaks really fast and can be a very dangerous pitch for hitters that can be really difficult to track. Collegians have a runner on first. Nobody out. And Riley Hall stands in. He's in the designated hitter position this evening. He starts the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Piñardo comes set. The 1-1. He steps off the rubber, and we'll have to wait for the 1-1 just a moment as he throws over to first base to hold on Logan Carney. Count remains at 1-1. Now the pitch. This one's chopped fair down the first base line. Norman fields it, makes the play over at first, and there's 1 away.
Your attention, please. Pitch hitting for the Boulder Collegians, number 22, Kyler Adams.
And I actually think that Kyler Adams, who is up to the plate now, subbed in the last inning in the catcher position. Because I saw a new number back behind the plate. I just wasn't exactly sure what happened there. So it was a substitution in the last inning. I think he's officially in the game, as now he is also, to an extent, pinch hitting here in this situation. He swings and misses at the first pitch. His count moves to 0-1. So there's a runner on second. Logan Carney stands over there. 1 down and an 0-1 count to the new catcher in Kyler Adams. The 0-1 pitch into the turf for ball 1. Piñardo comes set. Takes a look back to second base. Deals the 1-1. This one into the turf once again. The count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. E.J. Leans comes out of the game after having really solidifying and producing those 2 runs that they were able to score in the top of the 2nd inning with that 2 RBI double. It was a bases clearing 2 RBI double. There were runners on first and second, if I recall, in that situation. This is a 3-1 count now to Adams. The pitch from Piñardo. That one is drilled down the third base line, foul. The count 3-2 now. A full count to Kyler Adams. Adams attending Dakota Wesleyan University. He stands in and awaits the payoff pitch. Piñardo kicks and deals. That one's popped up into foul territory. It'll go out of play. Just next to the bullpen for the Collegians. The count remains at 3-2. See another payoff pitch from Piñardo. That one popped foul once again out into actually out of play. This one goes into the parking lot of doom. Bounced right at the feet of somebody that was walking into the stadium I just saw. He did a 180 to go grab that ball to, I would assume, hopefully avoided hitting any other cars. The Larks wearing the throwback uniforms here this evening. Got a navy blue stripe that runs down the pants. They've got cream-colored pants and tops. Got the interlocking HL in red across the chest as the 3-2 pitch misses low and inside on Kyler Adams. So it'll be a base on balls for Kyler Adams, and there's runners on first and second for the Collegians. The Larks have their red 80th anniversary caps on this evening, with the HL in blue this time, the interlocking HL in blue on the front of the cap. And, of course, the letters on the front and back, or the numbers rather, are in blue. As now the 9-hole hitter Skylar Daniels starts his at-bat with a foul ball back behind home plate. He starts his count 0-1. Larks hold a 14-run lead. Lead at 16-2 with runners on first and second. Piñardo deals the 0-1. That 12-6 curveball dropped into the zone, generating a big swing and a miss from Skylar Daniel. Skylar Daniel, the second baseman for the Collegians. In his one at-bat this evening, he's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. The 0-2 pitch from Piñardo. He goes back to that 12-6 curveball. This one going into the turf. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count. Piñardo comes set. Now the pitch. This one is hit into right field. On the run is Schmeiler. A diving attempt at the ball in foul territory is unsuccessful. But the umpire called it a fair ball. Now the home plate umpire just put both of his hands up in the air. And so I don't think the home plate umpire knows what's going on.
I'm a little bit confused, too. That ball probably looked like it would have landed in foul territory, but at the same time, Schmeiler made contact with it when his feet were in fair territory, making the diving play. So that call could go either way. But I think that they're going to return them back to their spot. It's a very confusing play.
Yeah, confusing is certainly the way to put that. Now, Frank Leo's now exited the dugout as he's trying to get people organized out here. So the center fielder Baker and Schmeiler had a quick conversation, along with the second baseman Russell. And now Tanner Norman's holding his arms out in the air saying, what the heck's going on? And the Larks faithful not happy with what's going on here. Now there's base runners all over the field right now. The base runner, the lead runner that just hit a foul ball, well, at least what looked to be a foul ball from up here, is standing in the infield with his helmet off. And so they called it a fair ball. So now I believe there's runners on first and second. A run scores on that play. So the score now 16-3. Number 18, Logan Carney, scores on that play. And that advances Kyler Adams over to third base. And Skylar Daniel, who just notched a hit on a very wacky play, is over at second. That brings up the top of the order for the Collegians. Britton Fox, the left fielder, up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 in tonight's contest. Grounded out to Carson Lyles when he was in the game. His first time up and struck out in his second at bat. The 2-0. That one's fouled back into the net. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. And I think you're right, Hank, in assessing that Ty Schmeidler was in fair territory when trying to make that play. And I think that was ultimately the right call to call that a fair ball, as he was standing in fair territory and touched a ball that was in foul territory. The 2-1. A big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes now the count to Britton Fox. A 1-hole hitter for the Collegians. The 2-2. That one way inside on Fox. Came just inches from his elbow. May have taken some arm hair off of him. Full count now from Piñardo. Only 1 down and runners on second and third. The payoff pitch is swung on and missed. That's a forwards K from Piñardo. That brings up the 2-hole hitter, Parker Noah. He's center fielder for the Collegians after Piñardo just notched his first strikeout of the night. Noah stands at the ready in the right-handed batter's box. The first pitch to him is a curveball that misses outside for ball 1. Two down and 2 runners in scoring position for the Collegians. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to pull this game back into striking distance as they trail it by 13. The 1-0 pitch drops over the outer half for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike the count now to the center fielder, Noah. Noah 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts so far in the contest. The 1-1 right up the pipe for strike 2. Piñardo looks home. Comes set. Now deals the 1-2. Noah thought really hard at swinging at that pitch. It was up in the zone over the outer half of the plate. And Noah used the right judgment there to lay off of that pitch as it was called a high ball. The 2-2. That one is popped up a mile high. Getting underneath it is the catcher, Norman over on first base. He makes the catch, and that is 3 away. The Larks give up 1 on a very wacky play out in right field from Ty Schmeidler, and they allow 2 hits in the inning. 2 guys left on base as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Larks lead it 16-3. We welcome you back to Larks Park. The Larks lead it 16-3 here in this very lopsided contest in the bottom of the fourth inning. Leading things off for the Larks is the 8-hole hitter wearing number 8, conveniently, Austin Crawford, the shortstop. And even though I'm in the 6th inning scoring column, we're still in the 4th inning, and we are 2 hours into this game already. Which I never thought I'd be saying in the bottom of the 4th inning. So new pitcher on the hill for the Collegians, Ethan Brown. The first pitch from him is a strike over the outer half to Crawford. Brown's a left-hander. Previously played at the University of Seattle. The 0-1 is a check swing that misses over the outer half for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike now the count to the shortstop Crawford.
The Larks are also getting quite an interesting lineup of pitchers from the Collegians. They started off with 2 recent high school graduates. Then they go to Gavin Sparks, who took a gap year this last season, and now Ethan Brown, who last played college baseball in 2024.
A foul tip now that goes into the mitt of the new catcher, Adams. Moves the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Collegians have now thrown 4 arms, and you wonder what that does to their bullpen going into tomorrow's league matchup, with today being a non-league matchup. The 1-2 goes well outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes now the count. Crawford taps the end of his bat on his toes. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Brown deals. The 2-2 is belted out into left field. It's ripped down into the outfield grass for a base hit.
Crawford had the right launch angle, and he had a lot of power on it as well. That was a perfect hit.
And I don't know if that excited you folks at home, but it sure excited me up here in the booth, as that is the first hit we've seen in a while from this contest. This has been a very low amount of hits in this contest, considering the score being 16-3. That is just the 6th hit of the contest for the Larks and the 12th between the two teams. So now the runner on first. It's the 9-hole hitter, Dylan Hazelhorse, the catcher and 8th Street Liquor beverage batter for tonight. He starts the count 1-0. Hazelhorse 1 for 2 in tonight's outing. Struck out in his first at-bat, was hit by a pitch in his second at-bat, and then had an RBI single in his third at-bat in the bottom of the 3rd inning. He swings and misses at the second pitch of the at-bat to move the count to 1-1. Brown comes set. He deals the 1-1. That one a very snappy motion. It dives into the turf. The count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. Brown looks over to first base. A small lead for Crawford. The 2-1 is fouled away. May have gone into the parking lot of doom. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count now to the catcher, Hazelhorse. Hazelhorse, a native of Hays, Kansas. Fort Hays State baseball player. The 2-2 misses outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes now the count to Hazelhorse. And I'm sure there's some sort of relation, but Gavin Hazelhorse was also a member of the Fort Hays State football team, who I would imagine is, my best guess would potentially be a brother to Dylan Hazelhorse, but I can't confirm that. 3-2 misses inside. That'll advance Dylan Hazelhorse over to first base, and there's runners on first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. That brings up the top of the order for the Larks. The one-hole hitter, Rainer Bean, the third baseman for the Larks this evening, comes up to the plate. Bean has reached all but once this evening in his 4 at-bats. He flew out in his first at-bat, reached on a walk in his second at-bat, had an RBI single in his third at-bat, and then reached on a walk again in his fourth at-bat. He fouls the first pitch away for a strike. He starts the count 0-1. Brown comes set. Deals the 0-1 pitch. A big swing and a miss from Rainer Bean moves the count to 0-2. It's very rare we've seen the Collegians bullpen this evening get ahead early in a count. We'll see if they can't take advantage of that here. Brown looks home, settles on a pitch, and comes set. The 0-2. Strike 3, got him looking. And Rainer Bean holds his hand up in the air as he walks very slowly back to the dugout. He may have thought that pitch came in far too inside on him, as that one was really close to that inner half of the plate. Nonetheless, that'll go down as a strikeout and out number 1 of the inning. It's a backwards K for Ethan Brown. Just the second strikeout all night produced by the Collegians. As now the 2-hole hitter, Cooper Holtorf, takes a pitch upstairs for ball 1. Holtorf playing left field tonight for the Larks. The 1-0 to him is into the turf for ball 2. Holtorf is 0 for 3 tonight, was hit by a pitch in one of his 4 at-bats. Walked in his first at-bat, had a sacrifice fly out to center field in his second at-bat, and then flew out to the catcher in his fourth at-bat. The 2-0 pitch is fouled away into the parking lot of doom. The count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. One away here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Larks lead it by a large margin of 13 runs by a score of 16-3. Brown looks home, comes set, deals the 2-1 pitch. That one misses below the knees over the inner half of the plate to Holtorf. Brown has a very snappy motion on the mound. And Hank and I were just talking about this during the break. It just looks painful how his motion is. It's very unique motion. I've never seen a pitcher with mechanics like Ethan Brown's, as the 3-1 finds the upper half of the zone for a strike. The payoff pitch, missing inside. Cooper Holtorf jumps out of the way, and the bases are loaded. And now we have a pinch hitter, it appears, Jackson Ramos. I believe that looks like Jackson Ramos, who normally is a pitcher. We've only actually ever seen him as a pitcher this season. This is his first at-bat all season long. So Jackson Ramos will step in for Trent Baker. I wonder if that means he'll play center field. Who knows? We'll have to see at the turn of the inning.
Well, I'm just going to say it. I was not expecting to see that. I thought Trent Baker would make another appearance right here. And this is the first time we're seeing Jackson Ramos as a batter, too.
Well, and it's funny because they're playing his music as to when he were to come into the game. And we've seen Jackson Ramos come in as a closer a time or two. This is a very iconic music for a closer to play when they come into a contest. So now it's funny because it's kind of totally flipped now. Jackson Ramos is having this as walk-up music, so it's kind of a weird sensation for me up here in the booth.
And his approach is going to be a mystery to all of us. He never batted in either of his 2 seasons at Seminole State.
The first pitch to Ramos launched over the inner half of the plate for a strike. You've got to imagine if he hasn't batted in any collegiate game in his career, that means he hasn't attempted to hit a baseball in an actual game since, you would think, high school. One would presume anyways. He fouls away the 0-1. The count moves to 0-2.
Well, he's got a lot of support sitting in a third base dugout to our left, so
you almost wonder if this is Frank Leo's way of trying to speed this game along. The 0-2 pitch. Ramos leaves that one to the turf. A good eye, and the Larks dugout loves that one as they are all giving Jackson Ramos a round of applause. Ramos, I actually think, is wearing Trent Baker's batting gloves, those bright neon green batting gloves. So it looks like it pretty much is Trent Baker in Jackson Ramos form. The 1-2 is belted out to left. It's not going to have the distance, but, man, he made good contact with it. Getting underneath it was Fox. He got underneath it, made the catch for out number 2 of the inning, but, boy, everybody thought that thing may have had a chance initially off the bat.
That launch angle made me think that I was going to leave the ballpark.
That would have been bananas if he would have launched that thing out to left field and hit a grand slam. That would have been the cherry on top, the icing on the cake for Jackson Ramos in that at bat. That brings up the second baseman, Hutch Russell. Bases still loaded and 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning. First pitch to Russell, low, just below the knees for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes the count to the second baseman. And Hank noted earlier in the contest that we normally have seen Hutch Russell over at third base, but tonight he's making an appearance over at second. The 1-0, dotted over the outer half of the plate for a strike. One ball and 1 strike to count. Russell awaits the pitch. Brown deals. That one misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. And all things considered, with as many batters as Brown has faced this inning, he's only let up 1 run, which is rather surprising. He's let up no runs in this inning. And there's a big swing and a miss from Russell. My eyes were getting confused there. It was playing tricks on me. I was looking at the top of the 4th inning where the Collegians scored a run. But all things considered, with the bases loaded and in a jam like he is now, he's handled it actually rather well so far. The 2-2. That one misses upstairs for a ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes now the count to Russell. Russell, a sophomore out of Midwest City, Oklahoma, getting ready to move up to the Division I level to play for the University of Kansas. The payoff pitch. It's chopped right up the gut. And fielding it is Daniel, the second baseman. He leaps over to second base, makes the play, and that is 3 away. The Larks go scoreless in the bottom of the 4th inning and strand 3 runners. Still have a 13-run lead. Score is 16-3. The top of the 5th when we come back on the Larks Network.
The Larks check in a new pitcher for the top of the 5th inning, which, as long as they don't give up 4 runs, will be the last inning of tonight's game. It is number 27, Sammy Frederich, replacing number 22, Justin Pinardo. It is the 3-4-5 batters up here for the Boulder Collegians. And the first pitch is a ball to number 2, Yale Johnson. 1 for 2 for him tonight with a single in the 3rd inning and a ground out in the 1st. And this one will be chopped foul for the first strike.
Well, Hank was just telling me that, was showing me the score of the BJ's and Dodge City A's game. 6-4 the score in the 7th inning. Now, their game started the exact same time that this one did, and they're in the top of the 7th, and we are in the top of the 5th. Just put this one into perspective a little bit.
That's what a mountain of walks will do to a game. There's only been 12 hits combined, split 6-6 between the Larks and the Collegians tonight. It's now 1-2 to Yale Johnson, a Division I commit from Chandler, Arizona. Will play in the Big Sky Conference for Northern Colorado this upcoming collegiate season.
Well, and walks are not a statistic that's included in the box score of a game. And so if you look at a box score like this and it's like 6 hits at both sides, that would be a close game. No, this one's gotten out of hand.
And this one is popped up, and it's tracked down by the shortstop, Austin Crawford. There's the first out. That'll now bring up number 7, Ethan Fillinger. He's gotten on base twice tonight. His were from a single in the 2nd inning, which he was actually also the first run of tonight's game, and he walked in his last appearance.
And all things considered, Hank, there's actually still a pretty decent crowd here at Larks Park. I'm rather surprised, actually. There's most of the seats here on the right side of the grandstands all filled in, and the left side has a few openings, but certainly not as many as I would have expected in a game like this.
Frederick shakes his head no a few times. Facing a current Northern Colorado player in Ethan Fillinger. Count moves to 1-1. Fillinger played in 25 games as a freshman. Here's the 1-1 from Frederick. And that goes high and inside for the second ball.
Well, Frederich's hat is notoriously loose on his head. It seems like all season long, every time he pitches the ball, it flies off of his head. He's got to go retrieve it after every pitch. It's almost like a ritual at this point.
He goes inside again, and that's ball 3. Reminder to fans, our post-game player interview is coming up next, as long as the Larks don't give up 4 runs in this inning. Tonight we will do Carson Lyles, who is tonight's starting pitcher, and Trent Baker for his home run in the 2nd inning that really got things going. Swing and a miss on the 3-1 leads to a full count. Frederich comes in with 14 strikeouts in 7 games, looking for number 15 right here.
When you mentioned Trent Baker, this is his 4th season as a Lark, a 4-year Lark. You don't always see that with players that go all full 4 years with one team at this collegiate level in the summer.
There is a walk on the full count for Ethan Fillinger as he gets on for the 3rd time tonight. And really, when you think about it, that type of loyalty almost doesn't exist anymore at the collegiate level.
Not at all, especially with the introduction of the transfer portal and NIL being as prominent as it is. Obviously, it's certainly more challenging at the actual collegiate level to retain players as it is to as a summer league like this one is. But it's still not easy to maintain that loyalty of a player, because if you think about it, players move around so much that it's difficult for them to stay in one place over the summer as well. They meet new people, they have new players that they say, oh, hey, come to this league or come to this league. And so it's an interesting dynamic for sure.
2 balls and no strikes to number 4, Caden Cooper, the 5-hole batter for the Collegians, working with Ethan Fillinger over at first base. Fredrich deals another ball. The count is now 3-0. Cooper's put 2 balls in play tonight. He's flown out to left field, and his most recent appearance was back in the 3rd inning. He put the ball in play into a fielder's choice that ended the inning. And he watches the next pitch go by, and that one's called strike 1. Tanner Norman covers first. Ethan Fillinger has the lead. Here's the pitch. That goes to the outside for ball 4. So another walk for Sammy Fredrich against the Collegians. Now there's going to be a meeting between Tanner Norman, Dylan Hazelhorst, and Sammy Fredrich before facing number 18, Logan Carney, who has 2 hits tonight and is the only player for the Collegians that has done so.
Yeah, perfect night at the plate for him so far. And even though this is certainly not the result as a player you would want to, end the night with, I think for Logan Carney, he's got a lot of bright spots to look at from this contest. Just having that perfect night at the plate so far, has a chance to go 3 for 3 here if he can notch another hit.
Everybody will return to their spots. And now Logan Carney makes his 3rd plate appearance. His batting average entering tonight's game was .301. He has the most RBIs on the team also with 20, as he has a runner in scoring position. And he starts with a 1-0 count.
Well, I must say, Hank, I was expecting this game to be over before it got dark this evening, and it is almost pitch black now here in Hays, Kansas.
Swing and a miss makes the count 1-1. Let's just be happy that this isn't a league game, which would be 9 innings long, which would therefore make the run rule 7 innings.
Would make this one drag on even longer. I mean, this seems like the never-ending story here.
We get a short preview of what baseball around the clock is going to be like.
Yeah.
And that was a half-hearted swing, and Carney wasn't intending to make contact with it. It's now 1-2. This will be Frederich's first strikeout of the night, and this is a line drive foul. The Larks just need 2 outs in this inning to get back in the win column. It would make their overall record 24-6. And this one's chopped. Over to the shortstop. The play at second is in time. The play to first is not. And that will put runners at the corners. And personally, I think that was the right call. He got his foot there in time, but it's very close. And there's now 2 outs.
Well, in a situation like that, the tie always goes to the runner. And so they've got to give the benefit of the doubt to the runner there in a situation like that. But with there being 2 down now, they're just 1 out away from closing this one out.
This one is hit over to Tanner Norman. He runs over to first base, and there is the end of the game. The Larks get their second 5-inning run rule of 2026.
Final score for the Larks tonight, 16-3. Your final. Hank is venturing on down to the field to conduct our post-game interview on field. So keep it right here for just a moment longer, and Hank will have our post-game interview, and then after that we'll have our final thoughts.
By Lewis Automotive in Hayes. Take it away, Hank.
Thank you, Seth. I'm here first with Trent Baker, who had the 2-run home run in the second inning. What did you notice on that pitch?
Just saw a fastball, and I was trying to get it out front, and I did.
And you guys got another big win against Boulder. Was there anything different tonight? Because the last time you guys faced them, it was 6 weeks ago, but at the same time, that was another five-inning run rule.
No, it was pretty much the same thing. We had a rough weekend out in Liberal, so we just trying to turn it around and go in the right direction.
And you're wrapping up the regular season. It's your 4th season with the team. Can you just take a second to talk about what these last 4 years have meant to you with this team, your teammates, the coaches, and also these fans?
It's just been an awesome experience, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else for the summer. So thank you guys, and thank everyone that's been a part of it.
Congrats on a great performance. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Trent Baker. I'm now here with Carson Lyles, who had 4 strikeouts in 3 innings. What were you noticing from the batters tonight?
My slider was working tonight, curveball not so much, so just had to stay through the plate. And, my pitching coach, Brady Kreitzer, tonight, since Harper couldn't be here, helped a ton.
And this was your 2nd start. You had previously made 8 relief appearances. Do you take a different approach when you're making the start?
Yeah, honestly, I like starting better. I can come in, do what I need to do in the first inning, hopefully toss up a 0, so was able to do that tonight.
And as you're wrapping up this season, what have the Larks taught you as you finish your high school career and now you're going to go to Barton in the spring?
Yeah, it's just great being around the high school or the college guys as a high schooler. And I mean, just the atmosphere. I don't know if I'll play anywhere like it soon. So, I mean, it's great to soak it in, and the fans are great. Thank you.
Congrats on the big win. Ladies and gentlemen, Carson Lyles.
We appreciate Hank for conducting our on-field live post-game interview. Hank will make his way back up to the press box, and here in just a moment we'll have our post-game show.
For the second time this season, the Larks face the Boulder Collegians in a 7-inning game, and it ends in the 5th. The final score of tonight's game is 16-3 as we welcome you into the postgame show. My name is St. Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship. And there's really not much you can say about this game. The Larks jumped out to that early lead, and really everything kind of snowballed from there because they didn't even need the hits to get the win. They just took what the pitching gave them, and the rest was history.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that it speaks to the plate discipline of this Larks team. They didn't get too eager at the plate at times, even when they had counts that were in favor of the batters. And I think for the Larks, this is a good win that will give them some confidence going into the NBC World Series.
And now tomorrow, the real business starts. It's league play. There are 2 must-win games for the Larks if they want to win the title outright. And you got to wonder where Boulder's going to go from there, especially because they had 4 pitchers, and they just really were struggling to find the strike zone with how many walks there are. We didn't have the chance to add them up, but I'd have to assume it's in the double digits.
Oh, 100%. And I think it'll be interesting to see how they approach tomorrow's game and how they approach Sunday's game, especially with the fact that they pitched 4 arms tonight. They're going to be maybe a little bit short-staffed here in these next couple contests.
And you could almost consider tonight's game kind of a tune-up game with how the results were because the Larks know that they can get big wins against the Collegians. They're 3-0 against them on the season. And I'm going to pull it up again real fast. The score between Liberal and Dodge City, the end of that game just ended in the let me rephrase that. The 7th inning of that game just ended. Liberal's only up by 2 runs, and Dodge is the home game, the home team. So there's a chance that the Larks could be first place all by themselves by the end of the night, but they have to remain focused on Boulder because they could either come out the same way or this is going to fuel them tomorrow.
Without a doubt. And I think for the Larks, the important part is don't get too caught up in things you can't control. A game like that against the A's and the BJs, you really can't – there's nothing they can really do from Hayes to control that game. And so I think the main goal is to just be focused and locked in for these next 2 games.
Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage of tonight's game. The Larks win 16-3, improving to 24-6 overall, and the Collegians have now lost 4 in a row. They are currently 9-14. Tomorrow's game is another 7 p.m. start time, and we'll have it right here on the Larks Network. We thank you all for tuning in to tonight's game. I'm Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship, and we hope you have a great rest of your Friday night.